Good morning, everybody. I'd like to say a few words before we start this meeting. I would like this to be a peaceful meeting. I know you people are upset, I'm upset. A lot of things went wrong. The storm really hurt us in certain ways. I'm not saying it's our fault, but Mother Nature took us by the hand with this storm. We had some problem areas, but if you listen to people from other villages, our village was done much better than most of those other villages. I mean, I know you don't want to hear this stuff, but let our managers talk. Don't attack them. Let them explain themselves what happened, why there were certain problem areas, and why there are some still problem areas, and we're trying to get that straightened out. But please, I want to get through this meeting. We have two meetings today. We have this meeting, and then we have the nomination meeting. Give these guys a chance to explain what happened. Tom and I were in communication from the day of the storm. I'm the president, a lot of decisions were made by me to do certain things with this storm, and that's why things had to be changed, because of the way the storm changed so fast with the ice. Our equipment had to be changed, so it was time consuming. That's why we fell behind the ball so fast. So these guys are out in the elements. They know, the managers know more than I do what happened out there. So let them explain to you people what actually happened out there. I mean, the Facebook page really took a beating on us. People just kept on. People that weren't even living in the village were Zoom, because they have a Zoom camera on, telling us that their walkway isn't done, or this wasn't done. Facebook was complaining, but they weren't giving us their addresses where these complaints were, or they weren't calling management and telling them that my snow isn't removed. You can't put a complaint on Facebook and not tell us where these complaints are, so we can fix these problems. But Facebook is really hurting us, because people just keep on throwing wood on the fire, and it gets out of hand. So please, I beg you, let's get through this meeting. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Hello, Tom.
I'm here.
Debbie here. Judy. Here. Sandy. Here. Harvey. Here. Terry. Here.
Thank you. Secretary's report.
This meeting is being held.
Okay, we're going to get the meeting on.
This meeting is being held in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting, and notice of the quarterly meeting was published in the July, January, and February Leisure Village News, which has been mailed to the residents. Minutes of the annual quarterly meeting held on November 3rd, 2025, proposed to dispense with reading of these minutes.
I'd like to make a motion. Make a motion to dispense these meetings.
Donna?
Does she open the meeting? Okay, I'm calling for a point of order. Greg should know this bylaw. Article 3, bylaw 9. If we don't have a quorum present, we cannot continue this meeting. And I'm calling for this meeting to be adjourned and rescheduled for evening.
Why don't we-
Because Tom, I have, it's point of order. I'm speaking, okay? I want this meeting adjourned according to this bylaw and rescheduled for evening. These are two extremely important meetings for the HOA membership, and you are excluding people from the nomination meeting that work. You knew what you were doing when you rescheduled this for 10 a.m. So Greg, explain to them what it is that I'm doing.
So this is a meeting of the membership, right? You're correct?
Yeah.
There should be quorum for meetings of the membership. The association is not.
One-fifth of our association, 487 people need to be here. Are you
This
at a problem?
is a meeting for the membership to hear the reports.
Right.
There is no decision made by the association at this meeting that's open. There's nothing requiring a membership meeting for the nominations that are going to happen. It's a board meeting that they're going to bring open to members that want to nominate
I'm
themselves.
talking about the quarterly meeting, this
Sure.
meeting that's happening right now.
Right, so if what you're saying, if you're saying that you don't believe that there's quorum to have a membership meeting, the membership is,
Read, do you know the bylaw? Do you know the bylaw?
I'm aware.
The bylaw is that you have to have 1/5
well,
of the HOA here.
right. So people here are welcome to leave or not. The staff is here to give a report to the people that are here.
Greg, you're not going to mow me over. I spent yesterday on the phone with the Division of Community Affairs. They said if you don't adjourn this meeting, I can file a complaint and the board will be held responsible, as will you, for telling them to continue the meeting without adjourning it. The membership wants an evening meeting because most people cannot be here because they work. So what are we going to do? Are we going to continue on this meeting? I'm going to break the bylaw, Greg.
The association is not making the decision, so there is no decision at this meeting.
No, and see, this proves that you don't know our bylaw rules. You're technically supposed to now take a vote of the people that are behind me, and that vote wins. So you don't even know, as our HOA attorney, you don't even know that that's how that's supposed to work. So let's take a vote.
Ma'am, I redrafted your documents, so I'm very familiar with what they are, and I'm much more aware of community association law than you are. There is no association meeting. If you want to say that there's no association meeting, that's fine. People are here to give reports to whoever is here. There's no decision being made at this meeting, so there is no harm to the
We are
membership.
calling as a membership that have the meeting adjourned because most of our members cannot be present today. So we're going to continue, and then I'm going to go home and file a complaint, and we'll find out if you're right or I'm right.
Then why don't you...
Is that what you're gonna do?
That there's supposed to be a quorum instead of just doing it now. You know there's never a quorum at any meeting.
Is there? And there's no
That's fine.
reason
Well,
to
this is
stop.
what I'll do. I'll talk to the board for a minute. People are welcome to sit around here, and then we'll come back. Can I just talk to the board? All right. So, right, you're correct, right? There's no quorum of the membership to have a membership meeting. So people are free to leave if they would like to leave, if they would like to stay and listen to the reports. There's no decision being made by the membership. There's no election at this meeting. Following this non-meeting, there will be a board meeting for nominations to serve on the board. And you're all free to stay, come and go. We're not going to keep meeting minutes, but The employees are here to give a report to whoever is here.
That's not the rule, Greg. The rule is that you need to adjourn the meeting and reschedule this quarterly meeting 48 hours from now. So are we gonna keep doing this because you're just dragging this out? I'm gonna file a complaint today with the Division of Community Affairs.
Again, there is no meeting.
I want a head count. I want a head count so it goes into the meeting and into the minutes of how many people are here. And then I also want it noted that this is a quarterly meeting, a membership meeting. You're adjourning it, then adjourn the meeting, please.
And if your intention is to expose the association to liability, I'll kindly ask you to please sit down, because we're not going to hear you anymore.
No. Are you going to adjourn the meeting or not?
The meeting is adjourned. There is no meeting. There's no meeting. There's no quorum.
Okay, so
There's no decision being made.
So then, right, the quarterly meeting will be rescheduled 48 hours from now?
Please take a seat.
Yes? I didn't hear you, yes?
It's not my decision. Please take a seat.
Well, can you ask the board? Tom, you're our board president. Can you please answer? Are you attending? You're adjourning this meeting, which means we now don't have a quarterly meeting.
He does not speak on behalf of the board. The board will convene and discuss that. Thank you. Please
So
have a
this
seat.
meeting is adjourned.
There is no meeting.
No, you just said the meeting's
Meeting is
adjourned.
not open. No.
Well, it doesn't matter, a board member yelled it
There
out.
are no minutes being made. Please have a seat. Quorum?
487 people to the next meeting.
There is no membership meeting. You're correct.
Is there or is there not going to be a quarterly meeting this year? This quarter?
If the intention is that there has to be quorum for a meeting,
Is there or is there not going to be a quarterly meeting? I'm not asking.
there will be no membership meeting if there is no quorum. That's my answer.
So then, okay. And that means that there's no regular monthly meetings if there's no quorum. Is that correct?
There are board meetings. Board meetings require quorum of the board. Membership meetings require membership of the quorum, such as an election, which makes decisions on behalf of.
Has there ever been a quorum at a meeting?
I haven't been here, but there's always been a quorum of the board for a board
All
meeting.
right, you're saying that there's no meeting. You're saying that there's no minutes. We are given 3 minutes every 4 months to speak what we need to speak, our feelings. You are taking that away from us because this meeting should be held at 6 o'clock so that those people that work can attend. Yes, yes.
Again, this is not a meeting of the membership. We won't call it a meeting of the membership. If you want to, everyone's here, right? If you want to discuss something, I think we're still going to go through it.
You just said that you weren't. You said it was going to.
No, what I said is that.
You said that there's no meeting.
Please, let me.
Stop! Barry.
All right.
We have 3 minutes a quarter to speak. If you are telling me that this is not a real meeting, then we're not really speaking. It's either a meeting or it's not a meeting.
Under your governing documents, you're required to have 1/5 of the total number of member units of an
I
association.
get that. I heard it the first time.
Okay.
Sharon is saying that this is the rule. There has never, ever been a quorum at these meetings. So forget the quorum. Let's go back to decency.
That's what.
First it was scheduled as a Zoom meeting. Half the people don't know how to use Zoom. So you wouldn't have the whole audience. Then you changed it to a 10 a.m. meeting where half the people, or a third of the people, or 25% of the people can't attend because it's a work day. Please reschedule this meeting at 6 o'clock for a full quarterly meeting. Period.
There is going to be no quorum at the meeting.
Call for yourself for it. We've never had this issue. We've never had a board who pretends to be on the same side as the rest of the membership. They don't want to face the music for this mistake. So just please adjourn the meeting, and 48 hours from now, within 48 hours, you have to hold another quarterly meeting. Like, why are we playing this game? This is a law. This is a rule.
What happens if there's no quorum? Let me just answer. What happens if there's no quorum if we do it Thursday night, next Thursday night? What happens if there's no quorum then? We still have...
You don't have to have a quorum unless someone like me gets up and says, I want to adjourn the meeting because there's not a quorum. Do you not understand that? I don't understand it. You don't understand the bylaw. You're the president of our HOA.
Yes, this meeting has been done in the morning.
Now, just because somebody doesn't adjourn it doesn't mean...
We have 4 quarterly meetings a year. The homeowners have 4 quarterly meetings a year. We've had 3. This is our 4th, okay? Basically, if you want to do anything you want to do, fine. But you have to have a quarterly meeting. Homeowners are entitled to this quarterly meeting. So, if you're going to do what you want to do here, you have to reschedule a quarterly meeting with the homeowner. Yes, you do. No, you're not having a quarterly meeting.
You're not having a meeting of the membership, of the association.
You need
You
to
can
have
a meeting
a
where
quarterly
the...
meeting at 6 o'clock at night. You can do whatever you want to do today, but we're entitled to that meeting.
We've always had 4 quarterly meetings.
Yes.
It's always been 2 in the summertime, they were at night, in the wintertime, it was during the day for safety of the people. We went back there for safety of the people.
I went back and looked.
I think we're done.
3 meetings, the meetings after the election, the meeting time was changed to 7 p.m. Then the August meeting was 6 p.m., and the November meeting was 6 p.m. The only meeting that was at 10 a.m. was last February 2025. Then you switched over to evening meetings. I have my iPad. Do you want to see the picture? You want to see the picture? Stop this farce and this meeting. Adjourn our quarterly meeting, and you're going to have to hold it again. You can hold the meeting.
Man, just because you have people show up and nobody requests an adjournment of the meeting doesn't mean you have quorum. Doesn't mean you have a membership meeting. I think that's the point that you're missing. You're saying if you show up at 6 p.m. and there's still not enough people there and nobody wants to adjourn, they have a membership meeting. That's not the way it
I'm
works.
going to adjourn a meeting based on the bylaw, Article 3, Section 9. Are you going to adjourn the meeting or not?
There is no meeting, correct.
So when will quarterly meeting be? Within 48 hours?
I don't know. But again, I think you should sit down because I think the employees have stuff they want to say and people that maybe want to listen to it.
I understand what you're saying. Tom, when you started this meeting, you said that Facebook crucified you. So when you had the meeting at Monday night, everybody was going to come. You know that there was a lot of people that were going to show up. Then you changed it to Zoom, and that's ridiculous because, wait, please let me finish. I don't do Zoom, and you're going to have, I don't know how many people Zoom can hold. So then we changed it today, and at 10 a.m., and a lot of people are working, and there's still people that can't get out of their houses. There's one lady begging somebody that should pay to get her out of her house. So she's not going to be able to come. But there's a lot of other people that will be able to come. If you make it at 6 at night, so that when they're not working, that they can come. I don't see what the big deal is.
Can I explain why the decisions were made? Last week, the storm hit, right?
Terrible.
We were supposed to have a meeting Monday night, right? So, we thought when another storm was coming Sunday, then the following Sunday. So we made the decision to Zoom. The reason why we made the decision to Zoom, just in case there was a storm, we were going to Zoom meeting.
I understand that.
Then we got all these letters saying, the older people in the village don't have computers, they can't Zoom.
Understood.
So, fine. So then we listened to your complaints, so we changed the meeting to an open meeting. We changed it to Thursday morning.
But at 10 o'clock in the morning, when a lot of
We
these
changed
people
it,
are at work.
but a lot of the old people don't go out at night. So you're the ones that said, the old people can't Zoom, they don't have computers, but the old people won't come out at night. So we made it safety for, when you people said, the older people, so we made it safety for the older people to come out. Old people are not going to come out at night. And first of all, it's dangerous at night with ice. You can't see where you're walking. So we made it during the day, so it's safer for you people.
Nobody's walking.
But you,
Nobody's walking. But you can still,
it's
okay.
safer during the day than at night to have the meeting.
If you decide to keep this today, that's fine, but I think maybe as a suggestion that you send out something through email or whatever to ask the people that live here what they feel is a better time for them, whether it be 10 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock at night, going forward. Going forward. Are you against suggestions? Suggestion. I didn't say do it, I said suggesting.
All right.
Just something that people would
We
be able
either
to
got to move on to this meeting.
All right, I just want to clarify one thing with Greg. So this is not a quarterly meeting. This is a meeting so the employees can participate.
This is not a meeting of the membership.
This is not a quarterly meeting, correct? I want that noted in the minutes.
There is no minutes.
Okay, so not a
There's
quarterly,
not a meeting.
okay.
Okay.
And so I can expect that within 48 hours, the actual quarterly meeting will be rescheduled. I have so many videotaping, so.
Okay, I think people are ready to hear from the employees. Thank you.
All right, we're going to hear reports.
Can I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
When you do have the morning meetings with that safety, whatever you want to do, okay, night, morning, I personally think it should be on Zoom, no matter what time it is, so the people that are at work, they can watch it on their computer. The older people that have, excuse me, I'm talking now. You want to talk, you talk. Okay, because I'm right. The people that, somebody living at your house, your grandson, whatever, want to come over, they can put it on for those people. They can see actually what's happening in their community. That's all. I'm not trying to be a witch.
No matter what we did up here, it was going to be a problem. No matter what we did, whatever decision we made, there was going to be a problem. So we made, so I'm the president, I made the decision to have it in the morning, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, can I just say, in the future, when we have it at night or in the morning, can it also be offered in Zoom? That's all. I'm not taking on you. You want
I understand what you're saying. We will look into Zoom at the meeting.
also have the meeting and also have it so other people can see it too. Okay? What do you want, Sam?
No,
She's picking on my hand.
let's get the supervisors. The supervisors have work to do out in the road. They want to clean it. Let's get their reports. All right, we're going to start with Gina Potter, county supervisor.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Good morning. Our 2025 fiscal year annual audit by our CPA firm has begun. I am gathering all the necessary required data for review, and I will share the information as soon as it is available. Our collections associate, Joanne Judy, and myself meet regularly to monitor delinquent accounts and review our attorney's collections report. Last quarter to date, we have collected $239,338.75 in arrears in-house. It has come to our attention that many residents are unaware of the fee imposed by Appfolio. If you pay your HOA through the portal, you are assessed a $9.99 transaction fee. You can avoid this by having your HOA charge automatically deducted through your checking account from the accounting office. Appfolio is a third-party vendor. The accounting department cannot adjust, cancel, or reimburse any payments you have scheduled. Please contact us if you need assistance editing your portfolio. As you are aware, your HOA payment is due the first of the month. Please take into consideration holidays and weekends when allowing time for processing and posting of your payments. If your payment is not credited to your ledger by the 15th, please contact Regina or myself. If you receive a late notice or have questions regarding collection matters, please contact Joanne. If Joanne is not available because she works part-time, please contact me. Please be advised, the only payments that can be processed by phone are debit and credit cards. There is a 3% fee for using a credit card, no fee for a debit card. There is no, if you want to pay with your checking account, please come into the administration office and complete the necessary paperwork. If there is financial information you would like to review, please fill out the request for accounting records and send it to me. Please allow time for the board's approval and necessary time to acquire the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Any questions for Phyllis?
Gina?
Not Phyllis, for Gina?
Kathy Green, 599 Lake Point Drive. Honey, I see your face, but get a little way okay when you said me, I don't know your name.
Oh, Gina Potter, I'm sorry.
What are you, Gina?
I'm the accounting manager.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Gina? Thank you, Gina.
That in the newspaper maybe, because so many people are not aware of that fee when you pay. So can it just be a reminder in the newspaper or an FYI that when you pay through Appfolio, there is $9.95, whatever fee it is? I think
we started in this month's newsletter, an accounting corner.
Okay.
So next month I'll make sure that it is in there.
that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Phyllis Fritz, administration.
Okay, good morning, everyone. For HO6 insurance policies, we need to have copies of your HO6 updated in the administration office upon your renewal. Most companies do it yearly. There are some, Geico I think is one that does it 2 times a year. So as soon as you get your renewal, please forward a copy. We just need the declaration page. You can either have the insurance company send it to us directly. A lot of times you can ask them to schedule that as an automatic when you renew. You can bring a copy to the office, you can email it to us, you can send it by regular mail, and you can also upload it yourself on your Appfolio portal. Vehicle barcodes and registrations. For residents that are needing new barcodes, we appreciate everybody's patience while we have this big cold snap, because unfortunately the barcodes do not adhere well in winter temperatures. So we do have this every year. This year is a little bit tougher. If you are in need of a barcode, please contact administration so we can at least get the registration paperwork completed in advance. This way we can monitor the forecast and see if we can schedule installations and as many as we can on days when the weather forecast is more favorable. If you're on a schedule and the conditions change for the worse, we'll reach out and cancel that appointment if we need to. Preparing the paperwork ahead of time allows us to actually process more barcode installations on those better weather days because the paperwork is done. Additionally, for barcodes, remember, if you change license plates on an already registered vehicle, we need a copy of the new registration. That will have the new license plate for that current vehicle. If you purchase a new vehicle and you're using existing plates from your old vehicle, the new vehicle will still need to be registered with us. We need to know what that vehicle is that now has that license plate, and we'll remove the old one that was in the system. Again, barcodes and 7 stickers cannot be removed from any old vehicles and placed on a different vehicle. And then lastly, I just want to thank those residents who did complete and update contact and emergency information. We did put it in the January newspapers. We also put it in the February newspapers. So really keeping that information up to date is critical for us to help reach you as well as family members if we have to. Thank you.
Any questions for Phyllis?
Hal Black, 193A. I was just wondering, is there any way we can cross-track, like, some people have 3 vehicles per unit, and they might all be registered, but is there a way we can cross-check to see if there's 3 people living in that unit? Because I think that seems to be a big problem with our parking during the snowstorms.
So when we put out the resolution regarding the number of vehicles, we actually went back and did that for all of those that, to make sure that the number of vehicles was correct to the number of, whether it was a one bedroom or a 2-bedroom, because that made a difference. Additionally, if someone was in a 2-bedroom unit that only had 2 residents but 3 vehicles, they did go back and we posted the $15 a month fee for that additional vehicle. So that was done. As we moved forward, anytime someone is registering a new vehicle, we have to go back and check whether it's a single bedroom or a 2-bedroom, and the same thing. So if they had a single bedroom, they were only allowed a maximum of 2 cars. There were some residents that had more than 3 cars that had to remove anything above that maximum back then.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's 256B. With all the cars, why is it even now in both big parking lots in Buckingham and I don't know about here in England, there are dozens of cars with no stickers. They're here for the entire storm, and I just saw them yesterday. They're still there. Why? People are coming in from any place and parking because they can't park in their own. But there are a minimum of a dozen cars or more every single storm.
Typically, that falls with John assisting with compliance, so he's heard that, and he can help take a look at what your question was.
I didn't realize it was.
No, that's okay.
Okay. So my question to you then, John, is why are there so many cars still there?
When John gets up, you can ask him that question. Ma'am?
Oh,
When John...
All right. Hi, Anne Marie, 353Z. Phyllis, I know you mentioned the HO6, that's home insurance?
Correct.
Okay, what about the every other year cleaning of the dryers?
Yep, so we put back in the newspaper, and everybody's times may differ, depending on when they initially did it. So if you are at your 2-year, and for the people that did it the first time when they instituted the resolution, they are up to it. If they had it done in August, then August of this year is the time it would need to be done. We've started to get a lot of people that have been turning them in appropriately.
Right, but those that aren't, how are they being notified?
So it's in the newspaper that you need to have it, and we'll eventually be able to go back and try to get back to this.
Because I just know, again, playing devil's advocate, a lot of things are in the newspaper.
Yeah, it is a difficult thing for us to go back and track, given the workload that we have. But we do our best.
Okay, so I'm just thinking from a reliability standpoint, the cost of all insurance and everything. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have purchased an all-in-one machine. It's headless. It's the washer dryer combination. It has no vent. Do I need to have somebody come up and document that? Because I don't have the vent to have cleaned.
Yeah, we've had people send the photos of the unit itself to us, so that we can see what's in there for
Yeah,
documentation.
there's no vent. It's an all-in-one thing. All right?
Harry Seal, 574B Sheffield, just piggyback on the dryers. First time we did it, the board got someone to help us to get a discounted rate. Is the board going to try and do it again this year to try and get us a discounted rate?
Duck Dude still does offer one. Several people had reached out initially to them because they had used them the first time around. I don't remember what they're offering, but again, it is a discounted rate.
Could you at least put it into the Leisure Village? Because a lot of people forgot who it was, please. Thank you very much.
Lisa Arena, 78 Rochester.
You.
Lisa Arena, 78 Rochester.
I'm not sure if this is a question for you, but I just want to know, what about dog licenses and dog rabies shots? There's so many dogs here, who takes care of that? Because I know my dog's compliant, but there's millions of dogs around me, I have no idea.
So they get turned into our office, but we're only as good as people who get a pet and come in and register. It is part of the rules and regulations, but if we don't know that they have the pet, we can't follow up on it. A lot of times we do find out from neighbors who contact us and tell us. We reach out to them directly, they get the letter notifying that we're aware that there's a pet in the unit, and they have to send the documents to us.
Okay. Because I know like everybody pretty much, I think that's when you live in a township, they come around and give you summonses, you got 30 days to get your dog up to date, so I would assume in here, I'm concerned I have a big dog, but it's a little dog that nip at me all the time. So, I have a big Doberman, my dog doesn't bother nobody, come up to date, so I just want to make sure everybody's up to date with their rabies and shots, everything. That's all.
All right, thank you.
599 Lake Point. I apologize if I forget this, but probably my bad because I don't read the paper all the time. Duh. But the HO something which that woman clarified, which I thought it was, is our insurance for homeowners. You brought up a good point, so I can ask my insurance company. I get you one every year to annually do it.
Whenever your renewal is,
Yeah, renewal.
then they automatically send it directly.
Okay, the other thing is, honey, I'm confused about the vent being cleaned. So, I had it done quite a few years ago to somebody in the village and I didn't have to pay. So are you saying now we have to pay to have somebody to come in?
You have to have someone who is trained to do that. We put something in, I think this.
We might have put it in there, right? All right, so, okay. A ballpark figure, what do they go for? What is that? $25, $100?
People, I think, was 70,
I could do that.
There was different companies that did the work.
And so you know what I'm gonna have to do, I think? I'm gonna come into administration and like I forgot even that form, my dad, and see if everything is up to date that I should have in there, like that form who's gonna come in the gate or whatever.
Okay, I'll help you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions for Phyllis? Thank you, Phyllis. Next up is Frankie Rodriguez. He's buildings and grounds. All the questions? Maintenance. Buildings. Exactly. All the questions should be answered about the buildings. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is well.
I just want to say that this place used to be a beautiful place back in the day. I worked here for 14 years before Tom Plus allowed me with Alan Newman. And the landscaping was taken care of beautiful.
See you later.
There was no problem.
Can you let Frankie Rodriguez do his report? All right, well, let him do his report first, then you would ask him the questions. All right. Okay, thank you. Frankie, please.
Okay. So I have Roof Master coming in last year. He did a total of 39 buildings, a total of 103 units. So there's about 80 units in this facility of the 700 that needs to be addressed, that has 2-layer roofs. So we're saying that those are the ones that we're looking at, but it doesn't mean that we're going to get get through them, depending on other roofs, weather, trees falling, hitting roofs that have to be replaced. Total work orders that we have done last year was 10,403 total with lights, plumbing, termites. You name it, it's there. Year to date, we have 714 tickets that we addressed. There's 560 tickets that were done. There's 50 that are open. JCP&L is here. They started road work by the by the guardhouse, starting to work their way up and going up Dorchester. Unfortunately, with the weather, everything is on pause. I seen one unit out there today working on something. There's different issues in 2 different locations. There's one off Dorchester that is a broken wire that needs to be replaced, and there's another one in Sterling that we have to address after the weather breaks. Those are lights. Those are the mushrooms, the smaller lights, not the main lights. Main lights is JCB now. But they started doing work, and unfortunately, I guess with the weather, everything came up to a halt. So I just want to speak a little bit about the weather. They just passed. So there's 2 different districts. West has District 1, I have District 2. So before the storm starts, management comes in together 2 hours before the storm, and we talk about a game plan depending on what we're getting. We're saying that as soon as it starts to snow, we get our machine operators to come in. Machine operators are plowers, the guys on the bobcats that are doing the sidewalks, and anybody that has a machine that needs to be put out there. So we start with those crews. During those storms going on, I have to take some people off because it's not a set of people to do certain things. Everybody does everything. So we have to take off people to do the chemo and the dialysis. So chemo and dialysis, they start from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you'll see a crew plowing, then you see them disappear because they have other duties that they have to do. So we don't have a crew just for dialysis. So it's all hands on. So when people say, oh, this guy was here and then he disappeared because he has other duties to attend. So we're saying that there's always a neighbor that has to complain that they are getting done because they're on chemo and they're not getting done. So my apologies, but we have to concentrate on the people that has the chemo and have to do dialysis. Eventually we'll come and do the neighbors, but we get a lot of yelling and screaming about people not doing the neighbors while we're there doing the other ones. If we do that for the 20 people that we have to do, we'll never be done. So from there, the Bobcat workers are working. They start at the one-door units. One-door units are people that really don't have garages, and there's only one door. Some of those units, they added a back door, and sometimes they go back through the back door, but those are the units that we attack first. Now, when that happens, those are the first units when this happens. Now, when it stops, the snow, everything gets covered back. So they come back and forth to try to hit those units because there's only the one door that they can get out of. Now, again, they have other things to do as well. So during the storm, they have to come off, do dialysis, and so in the beginning, it's all man on. So we have one emergency guy to do the plumbing, the electrical. Okay, we have one custodian at the hall. Everybody's man on, doing the shoveling, doing the machine operating. Everybody's on deck. Now these employees have been here since the beginning of the storm until like 9, 10 o'clock at night. There's some of them that stayed overnight. So these guys worked hard this whole week, not going to their loved ones and doing their yards, their own property, and trying to get them out. So I know it was time consuming because of the weather, how it changed. It went from snow to ice, so we had to change all our equipment. So we couldn't use our plows. Everything had to be done with the buckets. So basically it was all scrape and pick up. We couldn't push anything because of the ice that was on the ground. So that made it impossible. The same thing with the Bobcats. The Bobcats had to struggle. They was just scooping and throwing everything over. If you drive up Dorchester, you can see all the chunks of ice that they removed. It's something that we have a machine that will plow through that with the breeze. It was time consuming. So, and then we had different shifts. And these guys have been here 10 to 12 hours. You know, and then at the end of the day, do we do that? And then they're out for 2 days, 3 days because they're sick, because they already worn out. So that's something that we need to talk about. Do we have all these crew members in here for all these hours trying to do the right thing, but then end up getting sick, and now they're out for a day or two because they are day sick. So with that, we changed all the equipment, and then we started working. We cleared out the mains, and then we started working on the garage doors. The garage doors, we work on a section. We start from one side, we work our way up, and we come down. There's people that need to come out, they need to go to work, we understand that, and we try our best to get everybody out of their homes, to their doctor's appointments, and everything else. At the same time, those guys will be taken off, because we, operators are electricians. So guess what? If your heat's not working, I have to take a man off to go address that issue. If your hot water heater blows up, guess I have to take a plumber and get him off as well. So we don't have, just because it snows, the village doesn't stop. You know, we still have other things that we have to maintain throughout the village. So we still deal with the heating, we still deal with the plumbing, and everything else comes with that. It's not that we have a group of snow people. Everybody that we have has something to do, and eventually they have to go back to do their duties. Now, in District 1 is from Dorchester and up. So we tried a different method of plowing everything first and doing the garage second. Wes did it the other way around. He did the sections as he was going through, and it ended up to be the same thing. So I try to do it that way, so people that do have the 4Runners, the 4x4 vehicles, they can still get in and out of their houses. At the same time, and we all met up at the same time. When he finished his area, the way he did it, the way I did it, we all finished at the same time doing garage doors and doing the mains. Now, there's other stuff that we still need to address. There's gutters because of all the ice and all the buildup that we have to stop and maintain as well. With saying all that, you know, a lot of people want to know what we do. We do a lot. We've been here since the beginning, and we've been here and we slept here. And that's starting with management. Management is here, and he's in here with us as well. Tom is the first one in the machine. Depending on what area it needs to be addressed, he's up there helping. If he's not in there, he's in the plow, just like us. If we're not plowing, we're shoveling. If we're not shoveling, we're on Bobcat, next man up. Somebody gets sick, unfortunately, we can't plan for that. You know, the weather's the weather. So people get sick, their kids get sick, people don't realize that we have lives as well. We still got to go home to our loved ones and clean out our homes. We have employees that get sick, so we have to fill in for that guy, for that person. So we just don't do the snow when it snows. We do everything. So with the garbage pickup, that's something that Waste Management decided not to come in some of the areas and some of the days. So, you know, that's nothing to do with the village. You can call, we can let them know that they missed it. There's a one call sent out saying that they were out due of the weather. With saying all that, I don't know that a lot of you guys realize the screaming and yelling that the girls get answering phones. That is not right. They get the message, they relate it to us. Now, we are out, so it's not like we're sitting in the office answering calls, answering emails. We're out there, and we're out there working. So you have crews here that have been here from 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. Some of you see them, some of you don't. A lot of the people that are shoveling, I get a lot of complaints that they don't know English. They don't need to know English to shovel, okay? Their job is here to shovel, not to have a conversation with you, not to do extra favors. They're here for one thing, is to shovel and keep it moving. So when the remarks come that these people don't know English, they don't need to know English to shovel the walkways. And that's about it. I mean, again, everybody has lives here. And we as a team, we do our best. And starting with the management, he's here, Wes is here, myself is here, and not to throw it out there, but a lot of people don't know what's going on. Everybody has their own personal issues in lives. You know, I heard people talking about Tom, the last quarterly meeting, and he's probably gonna get upset. Wes is gonna probably get upset with me as well. We have lives, last quarterly meeting, Tom had a death in the family, and he didn't come here because of that, but a lot of people don't know that. And technically, if he's not here, that he's always in his meetings, and he's not here, it's because there's a reason. And the reason is really none of your business, is that he's here on most of the meetings. So he don't need to address that. He's gonna probably be upset with me because I addressed it. But a lot of people are saying that he's not doing his job. He's doing his job. Wes, the same thing. I hear constantly calls that Wes is not returning calls. Listen, Wes just had a death in the family this week. And then, guess what? And then after that funeral that he got out of, there was, as he's walking out, he got another call that somebody else died in his family. And guess what? Wes is here. Wes went to the funeral and came here to work on in his area. So just because it snows doesn't mean that we don't have lives. We're here, we try our best, and we do our best, and the same with my crew. I back them up 100%. We're not perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. And there's nobody here that is perfect. So when people say that we didn't do enough, I think if you speak with the other villages, and I know there's a lot of people from I think east or west that say that they're the best. I have several calls from the police department getting violation, telling me about these villages, not knowing that they were calling the wrong village. So, any questions? Light them up.
I just have a concern. I just have a concern with the order in which everything was shoveled or plowed or whatnot. I emailed the board. I also asked the trustee. The fire hydrants were covered, and up until yesterday, some of them were still covered. I stopped the Bobcat on Dorchester to let them know there were still 2 fire hydrants that hadn't been plowed.
So what area?
3 something. They're done now.
Okay.
They're done now. But that's a big deal for me, and everybody here knows how fast these units go up in flames.
Yep.
I started on Monday complaining about it, and then still Friday we were starting, but the bus stops were in pristine condition. Yeah. Maybe if you could flip-flop that and do the fire hydrants, because I watched a car fire at Wendy's on Tuesday morning, and when I was coming back 45 minutes later, the fire department was standing there watching the car burn because those fire hydrants were plowed in and they couldn't get to them. So that's a real big deal for me.
Noted. Thank you.
Hi, Cindy 218A. I'm jumping up, and I jumped in front of everybody because I have to leave. I just want to say about, I know you guys are going to kill me, but the parking spots. I thank you for putting in the map. Please don't park in somebody's spot, but we have to go one step further and say, if you park in somebody's spot, you're going to be towed. Because I had somebody yell at me because he was parked in someone's spot who was actually dying, and he did die yesterday. And his father came from Florida and needed that spot, and I said, that's somebody's spot. This guy said to me, you don't deserve spots. And he has a car, a garage with 2 cars. He parked one there, and he said, you guys don't deserve spots over here. And I'm disabled, and I can park wherever I want. I said, that's it, and I told Tom. So we need, especially in these snowstorms, to get better for us who have parking spots. That's it, I'm sorry I have to leave, you guys. Wes, you know, I love you, you did a great job.
We help my neighbors out.
5998 Lake Point Drive. Am I not allowed to come up here more than once? What's the rule? Well, because I got little remarks, and let me tell you something, I don't appreciate it. I can't hear you. Now, let me tell you, I'm coming here as respectful,
because you guys don't have an easy job. I'm trying to show respect. And I will do it when I'm ready to do it. Okay. Frankie.
Yes, we are.
Because of my nerves, I completely went blank. But you did say, and I'm verifying this, because my sister had gone chemo, and she went in the main office yelling, and that's not my sister. But so, you're right, you're putting chemo and dialysis people first, right?
Correct.
The other thing, are you the one I should speak with? My sister lives at 2668 Kingston, my older sister. The garbage hasn't been picked up for 7 days. I know, Tom, you put that in the paper, but I had to check with my sister. Do I bring it up here? Do I tell you, Tom? What
is it, for the garbage?
Yeah, the garbage, 7 days.
What number is it?
2668 Kingston.
6A as an apple. Okay.
Thank you.
How are you doing, Felix Gonzalez, 44B Cambridge Court?
I can't hear what you say.
Felix Gonzalez, 44B Cambridge Court, thank you. I'd like to thank all of you for the work that you do, but it's still frustrating for people to not be able to proceed with their lives because things aren't being done. You know, and understand also that everybody has their own lives. I put in maintenance requests. Now, I really believe that these are safety issues where somebody's going to get killed, and it seems that they're not being taken care of. I have a large tree that branches keep falling off of. I get statements that, oh, we're going to come clean your gutters out, and nobody ever comes and cleans my gutters out for years. And again, these storms are becoming more consistent and worse as time goes along. Don't we need to have a better plan of how we're going to deal with things moving forward instead of just getting reasons why things aren't getting done?
Well, there is a plan intact. So what this storm is, we had 8 John Deeres that we need more. So there's something that we don't predict the weather. So these rentals that we get are very expensive. You know, maybe you're right. Maybe we will need to order another 4 for each district. And again, it comes to a cost. Now, if it doesn't snow, then we still got to eat that.
Yes, and I understand that, but even I believe this attorney would know, the association's been notified of these situations, and then something happens, do they become responsible for these issues? The sense, I had a visitor come and visit me last night, almost fell and broke his neck. I go out there with a shovel and try to do the best I can, and I see ice drop on part of it, another part all clear. Well, what about the middle? And I understand what you're saying about manpower and everything else, but it's more on the board to find out that what we got to do. Because I know there's companies that handle snow removal. If we can't handle it, then we need to do something about it, okay? Also, another thing, to the lawyer and the president, I really think you were out of line at the beginning of the meeting. You were representatives, especially you, sir, as a lawyer. You shouldn't be up there laughing at somebody and having interaction like that. I definitely just think it needs to be more professional. Thank you.
Jared Robenzell, 549B, Sheffield Court. Now, Frank, you said one-door units are a priority. That was my understanding all along. It wasn't until late Wednesday afternoon that a bobcat came through into the walk in front of our building. And the bobcat removes the top layer, but there's nothing but a sheet of ice. All of the walkways from our doors to that sidewalk were pure ice and not done. All right, so I went out very gingerly, hoping I didn't fall, but I have neighbors who couldn't get out.
Right.
And then Thursday, it was still a sheet of ice. I called, my neighbor called, and somebody came up with some salt and finally started salting it. I said, are you going to break that up? And they said, oh no, it's too hard.
By Thursday, I think we should at least have our walks done. So maybe you need to check your list of one-door units and update that. And however, it is commendable that you do dialysis and chemo patients, and everybody who has that need should thank you for that.
Thank you.
Suzanne Smith, 262D. I just want to say thank you, first of all, because it was an unprecedented storm. And I don't think, people, it wasn't a regular snowstorm. You know, we got 8 inches and then we got a layer of ice, which compacted and became concrete. I know that when you came to my street, Kingston, 262 Kingston, finally, and it took a while, when you really cleared it, it took an hour just to do my little street. I don't live on a big street, I live on a little street. It took them an hour with this humongous machine, you know, and it's like, that machine was the only thing probably that was taking care of that ice. I mean, this was an unprecedented storm. And for the most part, I've been here for almost 5 years. We had a little bit of snow the first year I was here. The last 2 winters have been really mild. And but I can tell you, I have never in the 20-some years I've lived in New Jersey seen snow and ice stay around for so long, because then we had the deep freeze, you know. And there's only so much that is physically possible to get that stuff up. It is like concrete, you know. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate how hard this has been, and I know it's been hard for all of us. I mean, you know, you don't go out unless you absolutely have to, and I appreciate that how difficult it's been. But this is across New Jersey. This is not just Leisure Village. Across New Jersey, we're dealing with this. So, thank you.
I would love to take credit for that area, but that's Wes's area, so I'll take it anyway.
Hal Black, 193A Sterling. Guys, I'd like to compliment you on the job you've done. With this lady that was just up here, this was an unprecedented storm. Okay, I've been here for 14 years, and this is the worst one I've ever seen. We've had a lot of snow, but we didn't get the damn ice that we got this time, and the deep freeze. So I know you guys busted your butts doing the best you could, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And on top of everything else, some people say, oh, we need a management company to come do all this. Bullshit. I've seen what the management companies are doing out there. It's no good. Go to Costco, Officer Rock, and try and get in. It's like you're going over a sheet of ice that's about this thick. Forget it. Guys, thank you.
Gene Longer, 352A. I agree, it was an unprecedented storm. However, we were notified at least a week ahead of time that it was going to be 6 to 12 inches, followed by ice and rain. So we should have been prepared. I know from listening to you, Frankie, that you guys have been busting your ass, and I appreciate everything that you've done. However, there is not one sidewalk or path that is actually safe to walk on. There has not been salt on any of them. I do walk every day with my dog because he's a pain in the ass and he likes to walk. I have fallen 6 times so far and been lucky enough not to break it. We have golf carts. I haven't seen one of them out there. To salt, to take the golf carts or the kabookas or the whatever we have. We have miles of walkways. I realize that, but not one of them is safe. I haven't seen any piles of salt other than what people have been throwing on their own. I know, I've already used mine, and I can't buy it. Do we have salt?
Yes, we do.
We have salt. Frank just said it.
Would you mind? Stop arguing with him. Let him speak. If you keep on arguing, you're not going to get anything accomplished. Let him speak.
Thank you. It's dangerous. As a senior, 75 years old, I don't want to be out there shoveling ice. I don't want to be out there breaking my hip or my leg or my arm or any other body part. That's why I chose a senior citizen, 55 and over place. I agree everything was monstrous, it was a monstrous job, but the one thing that we failed is getting rid of the ice. Also, we are told to park in overflow parking. I went out there and there was 6 feet of sludge, frozen ice in front of the cars. John, thank you. He came out with his kabuka just as I was trying to break through the ice. The kabuka had trouble breaking through that stuff. We have front loaders. We could have gone 3 feet closer. I know that you can't get up close to the car, but you could have done a much better job initially when we were out there trying to get our cars free. So, thank you.
Good morning. 378A. I spoke to you earlier. My husband and I wanted to suggest maybe you could revisit your rule of not hiring people who also live in the village. I'm a nurse and I was told I can't interview for a job here because I live here, and my husband wanted to join your grounds crew, possibly seasonal, and you were mentioning that people get sick. He would have been perfect on-call person for somebody who was out. I mean, I know you have that rule. I was wondering if you'd like revisit it and re-examine that rule.
That will be something the board has.
Okay, thank you so much.
Every single again, I want to thank maintenance and everyone for the snow as much as they could do, but a lot of the other areas had problems or even worse than us. At least we have employees inside to start right away. There are other 55 and over that they have to wait for outside help to come. And they did a worse job than here. They did as good as they could. And even the people who came in when it was snowing. This was a real hard storm with the ice and everything, which is very hard to go through. No one expected it. I'm sure they talked about it after the storm to try and come up with new guidelines for next time. But this was almost as bad as the one we had about 5-6 years ago when it was 19 inches. And in some of the towns you leave, you complain and they didn't do you this time, they didn't do you. Well, live in some of the other towns. Sometimes it takes them 5 days before they come down the street.
We don't live in the other towns. We don't care about the other towns.
Well, you should. With the amount of people here, I'm just showing you, they did as good as the job they did, better than some of the other 55 and overs. But you should compare. They came at night. They were on call at night and came in.
That's their job. They get paid for that.
Well, the way you talk is, I'm not going to answer you because you got your own crazy opinions. You think everything is always bad. But I'm going on. Now, my other question is this here. I don't know if you can answer it, Frank, or what. Did we have enough money in the snow budget to cover what happened this year? Or we're short-handed if there's any more snow?
My department.
No, we definitely exceeded the budget based on this summer.
So everyone don't complain next year if possibly the dues go up again because of the snow that just came this year. We want the service done, we pay for it, thank you.
You should just talk to
This is the last call for Frankie, but she has to get out and do some work.
Yeah, I'll make it short. Mark Levine, 452A. Just a question, because a lot of my neighbors ask about it. Prior to the storm, were we able to brine the streets, or was it just too cold?
Well, before the storm, the previous storm, we had so much salt out there that we didn't have to brine. But we're preparing brine now for this coming up storm that's coming in this weekend.
Okay, so we didn't, but we would have.
Yeah, because we had so much salt out there.
Understood.
But every storm that comes, we always brine.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, there's salt out there, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, good. Overall, what I saw, you guys did a good job, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify, no one said you didn't work hard, because it was a big job. But that being said, there are shortcomings all over. And I have no crazy opinions. Everybody here has an opinion, and if everybody here wants to get up and say something, they can, because that's what you do at these meetings. So you worked hard, and everyone appreciates that you do have lives, but we have real concerns, and no one wants to hear what happened in other villages. We don't live in those other villages. It's indifferent, it's irrelevant to what goes on here. But I don't want to compare you because they do other things better than you do, so you want to hear us say, you know, that's irrelevant. But thank you.
Good morning, my name is Kenneth Wilkins, 378A Chatham Court. On the brine situation, if you have rain before a storm, brine is not going to work for you. You get 24 hours to 48 hours for the brine to put down. And it's got to be dry, but if it rains, it will just wash away, so it will not work. So please, people, understand, salt works at a certain temperature, brine we can't put down if it's raining. So please, don't give them a hard time. Let them do their jobs and let them get back out to work. Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I just say one thing? Frankie has work out there too. He has some emergencies, but Wes is coming up next. You can ask Wes the same questions that you're asking Frankie, because he's the grounds person. So let Frankie get out, because he has a couple of emergencies that he has to hit. So let's do his report, and then you can ask Wes the same questions, because he's the grounds
My
person.
question has nothing to do with how the snow is removed. My question is probably for the manager about the cost of it and how it's impacting the budget. So from what I recall in the budget, you had $20,000 for overtime, and you had $20,000 for contracted labor. I'd like to know where we stand with that. And I guess for snow reimbursement, I'm assuming that's dealing with Lakewood. Do we have any dreams
Can I just say one thing?
of having that?
When Tom does his report, he'll address all that. When the village manager's report, he'll address all the...
So you'll address those specific questions in your report? Okay, very good.
Thank you. West Tanner, Grounds Department.
Hello, good morning, everyone. A lot of what I gotta say might agree with what Frank already said and some of you already said, but I do want to just read my report that they have it on record. So hello with everyone. Before I get into the past snow event, I just want to make mention, as I normally would, that we have completed the leaf removal season with removing approximately 398.8 tons of leaves. That is accounted for in the 2 months that we have worked the leaf season. Prior to the snow event, we were preparing to meet the tree contractor to begin marking trees that need attention. However, the weather put that to a stop. So that will be scheduled as soon as the opportunity comes itself. Now to get into the snow event, which you mostly already heard most of the stuff, and which there has been, and it's a constant effort to clean up. Not only here in the community, we had issues, but difficulties throughout the neighboring communities and throughout the state. Nevertheless, this past event, I will speak for myself, struggled with the management part. I maybe had meetings with the management about the snow events. I had meetings with my crew. And this event had so many different adjustments that we had to make during the storm. The temperatures were the biggest issues, and in most areas that were salted, it did not work unless the sun hit that area. Almost everything we salted overnight froze back over. The men in my area that shoveled had great difficulties clearing the walkways. So you will see, or you have saw, 2 to 3 men that were trying to get through to make a path. I actually went up to shovel to see why it was taking so long, but even for myself, it took about 40 minutes just for 2 walkways. That's because of the ice. Our operators that was clearing main sidewalks struggled, and we had to change our attachments as well. That's to say the least. I don't want to keep saying this and that because there were things I personally was upset with, mainly with some of our contractor shovelers when giving instructions to our employees, in-house employees. When I delegated the tasks, certain expectations was not being made as I felt the progress should have been made on the first day of the shoveling, which put us in the put us behind a lot in my district, District 1. In which put us behind much more with the doors in my district area. This is why some of you have seen a large group of guys this past Sunday. I feel like my loader operators and plow operation went well. However, they get difficulty with the snow becoming heavy and also finding the spots to push the snow. Again, we dealt with the ice, so that was the biggest problem. Lastly, concerning the issue, the guys are still out there cleaning up. I personally apologize. I can say that we did our best, and we will continue to help when we can. I had to apologize to Shirley Lewis in the office who have been taking the calls and need to screen home because it's not their fault. So please remember that they are relaying messages. We are sending guys out to address the problems. But this storm was not a 1, 2, 3 and it's done. This storm was the storm after the storm. That was my report, but to mention, somebody asked about salt. We probably put down about, I would say roughly almost 500 bags of salt out there. So we were using it. Just was not working in some areas. And then we put some more orders out there. And a lot of the places, the vendors we used are backed up. So we did get another order in. So we are going to be out there salting. That's it.
Any questions for Wes?
My unit number is 660A. I'm hearing, I guess I was one of the lucky ones with the crews that were out shoveling. I got this awesome lady, and she did my walk from the kitchen door out to the curb. She even gave me a safe entry onto the street. She took that ice away from the curb so I could step safely down to the curb. I think you should find out who she is and hire her. And I think you should appoint her to run a crew. My suggestion would be maybe to instruct these seasonal workers or these extra workers, whatever they are, in exactly how to do their job. And then have somebody, they seem to be confused, some of the crews, in what to do after they were doing their job. So maybe they need to be maybe supervised a little bit more or have somebody with them to help them and to do their job better and more efficient.
Right, so that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
The first day in Plymouth, it was an issue because my crew leader, he's actually my motor operator. So when he got instructions, he went and delegated to the machine operator, who did not perform well in my opinion.
It was just and I just wanted to make that suggestion. And the other thing is, I have been going to physical therapy, and during the storm, just a suggestion if they could kind of make that a priority, because you're going to physical therapy because you had an issue. And it's really hard. I parked in the administration parking lot and crossed over. There was no cut through to get to Ivy's walkway. There was a cut through further down, but the whole sidewalk was a sheet of ice. You couldn't walk safely. It's just a suggestion to kind of address that early on if you could.
Right, now you're right, I salted that area 2 or 3 times a day. But if we don't go back in the scrape, it's going to freeze back over. It was hard over there.
It was just what I saw. I understand. Right. I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for Wes? All right, thank you, Wes. Wes has got to get out there with his crew too. Thank you. Next up, we have Mike Aliyah. He's the shop manager. He's the one that takes care of all the equipment.
Good morning. Back in December, we went from leaves right into snow. We had a 2-day notice of a snowstorm coming. So we worked hard to double check everything so we were ready to go. The grounds were still working on the leaves. We were still working on leaf vacuums. And then leaf pickup was finally finished in time. And then we started right on the snow removal. And been on that ever since. We're keeping busy, keeping the plows and salters running. Also I've been checking on the fuel. I've been climbing that icy fuel tank for gasoline and diesel because we've been using more than we usually do, especially since December with leaf pickup and snow removal at the same time. That usually doesn't happen. I mean, it's happened in the past years ago, but not recently. And also when the weather breaks, then we'll start working on the lawnmowers, but it looks like we have a while for that. But you know how fast time flies. And so I gotta get back out there now. I know everybody's not a fan of our big garage, but I stuffed everything in there to keep it warm because our stuff doesn't like starting in the cold. Diesel engines want to be plugged in, we can't do them all. The truck gas engines work pretty good, but the little small equipment gives us a hard time. And people mentioned about the Bobcats. Me and the mechanics were switching from like a shovel. We have V-plows and then we have snow blower attachment, and like none of them worked. They kept coming back and trying whichever ones would do the best. We were just like rocks. We were just stuck, like they said, like cement. But we just kept at it as much as we could. But there's a lot to do. And that's it. Any questions?
Any questions for Mike? Oh, we got one in the back. Now I have one question for me.
So am I to understand that, because there were long periods where we didn't see any plows, am I to understand that equipment went down during that time?
No, it was working, but to tell you the truth, one will come in, one will go out, another will come in. It's a kind of a chain. It depends how far away you live. I don't know where they start. And
I'm on Chatham. Just because before when I mentioned possibly hiring seasonal, like my husband did this work for 31 years. And we were like, because there was like some long periods of time where we didn't see anyone. Do you have like a night crew and a day crew? Is it broken up like that?
Well, a lot of times we're working all day and into the night, and then some have to go home. And yeah, we're kind of at a bad ratio.
Yeah, it was a monster. It was a monster story.
Yeah, when you have like 30 basic employees and then you have 2,400 homes,
right.
That's not a good ratio. It's tough. And usually with a mild storm, it's not too bad, but we got killed on this one.
There were times when he was on the DPW, I didn't see him for 2 days because they'd be out.
Oh, forever, yeah. Well, when I finally went home that Sunday, because I'm wondering where I'm living, but at Tom's River, right, they plowed it 6 feet away from the curb. Then they pushed everything in front of my driveway. I couldn't even get in my own house, and I was dead from working here. And then I drove around, and I couldn't find anywhere open to get something to eat. I barbecued in the backyard. I was stuck. That was it.
Yeah, we shoveled out.
Sympathized.
We shoveled out our fire hydrant because he was also a fireman. So
yeah, I had one across the street. They didn't touch it, and then the town didn't come back to do anything else. If I had 4-wheel drive, I would see it.
They have markers on them, I think.
They do put them on. I didn't see them this year. They usually stick some kind of pole or stick out around there, but he didn't do that either.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mike. Okay. Next up, John Lister, compliance.
Hello, everyone. Since the last quarterly meeting, I have received 102 new permits for new home renovations and landscaping improvements. There are approximately 56 still in progress, and 88 permits have been completed. As of the January 19th snow, about 20 cars were towed and another 20 cars received snow fines. As of the January 25th snowstorm, about 18 cars were towed and 20 received snow fines. In years past, the number of vehicles being towed, the number of snow fines have dropped about to half what it was in the past years. The traffic office has been out recording less and less residents speeding within Leisure Village. Other than the last snow, the last 2 weeks, the compliance office is quietly moving forward and looking forward to the springtime for overgrowth, more renovation, and for landscaping permits. Just for an FYI, to all you and new residents, there may be that when a one call goes out, to please remove all the vehicles from the roadways and the driveways so Leisure Village crews can clear the snow without any obstructions. To be clear, all vehicles will be towed from at the homeowner's expense, and the vehicles that are not towed due to many of the tow truck companies to keep up, there will be a $250 fine. And then a one call will go out to let you know when you can bring your vehicles back to your home. Any questions?
President John?
Gene Lambert, 352A. How many of those cars that were towed were parked from Dorchester down Dorchester, from Dorchester Hall down Dorchester Road, right?
All 12 of them were towed.
All 12 of them were towed. Are you aware that Saturday night we had a private event here in this building and people that live here had no place to park?
Yes.
And they were still towed at the owner's expense?
The private event was over and everybody was gone by 10 p.m. The snowstorm didn't hit till 5 a.m. the next morning.
And we were people were supposed to come out whenever, in the middle of the night, looking for a place to park.
There were places to park.
After the private event was over.
Even during the private event, I saw parking spots in the farm where people could still park.
Okay, I wouldn't think to park in the farm because there's a big sign that says no, do not enter. So I would say.
During the snow event, they do open the gates for people to park in the farm.
Okay, all right.
By the way, there was 7 parking stalls in the back of McCarty Court available.
Where's Carney Court?
McCarty is off the Portsmouth, right around the corner from Dorchester Hall.
Okay.
Joanne Williams, 175A Sterling Court. Is there any rules or regulations when a contractor comes in to do work on a unit within your cul-de-sac or within your block or anything about where they're allowed to park or any kind of regulations on that?
The only parking that I'm aware would be along the yellow curb.
The contractor, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, even for the contractor, as far as I know, they're not allowed to park along the yellow
Are
curb.
they aware of this? Because this past week, actually last weekend, one of my neighbors had a contractor come in, and I had difficulty just even getting out because he was almost taking up the whole road that you couldn't even get past him, even though enough of the cul-de-sac was plowed for, 2 vehicles, but he was taking up a lot, and I was like, okay, you better move because I need to get out.
I wasn't aware of it, no.
Okay, so.
If that does happen, call me and I will go find the house that the work is being done and ask the person if the rules is vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Megan, Donatello, 426D. So if that was a private party going on and the lot was full and or wherever these cars were towed on the street, maybe the people at 10 o'clock didn't know that there was a party going on. So everybody loves that one call. Maybe they could put it out, there's a private party, if this ever happens again. Or put the one call out that the farm lot is open for parking. Let people know that there are parking spaces available instead of just assuming that there aren't.
I think during the one call, they do say in it that they're where.
I didn't even get that. Sometimes you get the calls, sometimes you don't. Throw it on an email.
They do try to make sure they let you, make you aware of where there is extra parking.
Okay. Also, I know, because I've asked you in the past, there are cars in Dorchester parking lot here that don't have stickers on it and the registrations are expired. Why weren't those cars moved or so that there could be more open parking?
I'm not aware of many cars in Dorchester Park that don't have the stickers on.
Okay, because maybe.
If you see something, make me aware.
Because I had done that like a year or so ago, and you said to me because they are seasonal residents.
No, residents?
Yeah, like snowbirds. You told me they were snowbirds, so they left their cars in the lot.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Okay, some of them don't have stickers on and or are unregistered as far as I can see, because the registration sticker is.
That's only an inspection sticker. Doesn't mean the vehicle's not registered.
Okay, you're right. Do they have to be inspected to be parked someplace? They know we're private property, but they should be insured.
I have no way of knowing any of that.
Okay, thank you.
Al Black, 193A. If you look in the newsletter, the map of Leisure Village, there's the yellow areas that are highlighted. Those are overflow parking lots. There's always places to park. Farrington always has empty spots. Okay, there's a new spot right off of Dorchester or Buckingham that they just made parking in there. There's about 8 spaces there. So if tell your neighbors to look in the magazine and they can see where they can park. Thank you.
Also, if someone sees a vehicle parked in the parking spot that doesn't have stickers, make me aware of it so I can go check it.
Anne Marie, 353D. John, I know that issue, the cars being left in the lot, has been brought up at multiple meetings. If we make you aware of those cars that don't have the registration, expired registration on their car, and not the stickers, I know you don't know whose car that is, but is there any way that you could work with the police department or whomever that can look at that license plate? Because if it's a resident, shouldn't we have that license plate on file? This way, whoever can contact that person.
The police department will not give me any information on the vehicle that doesn't have a legal sticker on it.
So is there a way that we ourselves can check that license plate to see if it belongs to a resident?
Yeah.
And if it's not a resident, have that car towed?
Not towed, but they will get a violation that saying that car cannot be parked.
But who are you giving the day violation to if they're not on our records?
I put the violation notice on the windshield. That's all I can do. I don't know who it is. I can't go to their house. I put a violation notice on their windshield, and then the following week I come back and check it. If it's still there, I put another one on with the tow date. If it's there the following week, then it gets towed.
So you do, okay, so that answers my question. You do tow the car eventually?
Yes, I have to give them ample opportunity to move. I can't just tow it because it's...
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying over a course of time.
Yes.
Speaking for those who have to park, and when there's no parking spaces for them to park in this type of weather,
Yeah.
they don't have any options.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next up, attorney's report.
Good morning. Just a couple of things, pretty important. I just wanted to give kind of a summary of where we were in collections in our office in total. So calendar year 2025, I recognize your fiscal year ends at the end of November. But in calendar year 2025, our office collected $254,028.37 of past due arrears. And again, we'll continue our collection efforts. We put liens on properties, we file foreclosure complaints, we enter into payment plans with delinquent owners. We also, as some of you know, there was a planning board meeting last year regarding construction. We had Buckingham, and we attended the planning board. We noted our objections to the application for a major subdivision plan. The planning board moved forward with approving their application, and so the board authorized us to institute litigation against the planning board, Township of Lakewood, and the developer for a multitude of reasons. Essentially, their land use issues with their application, specifically their application calls for a zero lot line development, which is basically their ability to construct directly abutting association property, which we object to based on the zoning area, it's not zoned for zero lot line. They also failed to obtain a letter of interpretation from the DEP to allow construction over the wetland area. And we argue that that is a condition, precondition to approval, not a condition for eventual approval. So these are, again, both things that we're litigating. There's a few other policy reasons behind why we're suing them. And we anticipate, because I know everyone's on a time frame, sometime, I would say, in the next 3 months, 3 to 4 months, we'll have some resolution regarding this. It's not a long process. There's no depositions, right? There's no real discovery here. So it's really a legal issue of whether they are or are not allowed for this type of application in this zoned area in Lakewood. So obviously I will update everybody at all the meetings, not just this non-meeting, but at all the board meetings, and make sure that everybody understands what's going on. I'm going to answer questions as much as I can because it's litigation. And yeah, thank you.
Any questions for Greg?
Out at 193A, I walked the line where they built all the new ones back down through there already. And I call them the shake shacks that they put on the back of the units. Some of them have poured footings and come out even further than the decks. Do we have any recourse, because then there's supposed to be a bumper down through there?
We actually put Lakewood Township Inspection Department on notice that. We sent them pictures. We're waiting for them to follow up on that.
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, Annette Fitzmar, 60A. For the lawyer, what you were saying just now, I thought interesting. I was trying to write it down. Would you be able to, or they could put it in the newsletter, paper page, and summarize a quick summary of what you explained?
I think I did. I did already.
Did you put it in the newsletter?
So yeah, when we instituted the litigation, I did a write-up for the membership so they kind of knew what we're doing. If it hasn't been, it will be published, but there is a synopsis of what this case is about.
Okay, because I was trying to write it.
Oh, it's online? It's online.
Oh, it's online in the Leisure Village.
I couldn't even
Facebook at Folio.
Oh, it's on Leisure Village Facebook? Page about, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Village Manager's report.
All right, good morning, everyone. Just a few updates. I mentioned at the last meeting, we're looking into replacement of the bridges at the end of Plymouth Drive that leads over to Huntington, as well as the bridge that leads over to the island off of near Plymouth Drive. So we're still working with the contractor on that. We have to get them more information in order to get pricing on that. Board is in receipt of engineering proposals for the road improvements for this year, so they still need to digest those and make a decision on those. I spoke about at the last meeting that we were working with our insurance brokers on our renewals, and many of those renewals have come in pretty favorable. So right now we're trending under budget in that area, and we're working to try and get the insurance brokers in hopefully this month. I know one of our brokers is in Florida right now, so depending on when they get back, we would like to have them come in and speak with the community and give you an update on that whole process of renewal and just a breakdown of all those policies and what that comes to. Update update on JCP&L. Obviously, the weather has not been conducive for them to return and finish the installation of the new backbone feeder down Dorchester Drive, as well as the street lights. We recently got an update from them. They're hoping as soon as they see a thaw where they can come back and start working on it, they'll be back as soon as possible. Lastly, just going to talk about the storm. I know you've heard a lot from the supervisors. It was an unprecedented storm. It was. We've seen accumulations much greater than that, but really what the impacting factor was the amount of rain, sleet, freezing rain, sleet again, and then rain, and the drop in temperatures, which basically created a cap on top of the snow. So, we plan well in advance of these storms. We have management, all of our management staff is involved in that, regardless of what some people may tell you. And a lot of the factors of this plan did work out very well. So part of our plan, and we spoke with the board about that, was holding off addressing front walks until Monday morning. We didn't want to have personnel out there all day Sunday shoveling against the elements, and then they're going to be completely spent come in the morning and have no one there. That was probably one of the best moves we did, because areas that we did clear, all the sidewalks that we did clear at the very end, once it changed over into sleet and freezing rain, it was nothing but ice. And that is the most difficult thing to tackle. The snow in itself, when you're out there shoveling it, it's not that big a deal. Now, you heard Frank speak about the efforts that went into clearing the sidewalks. That was the biggest challenge. Getting the roads done, we had that pretty well under control. Once things really started getting dense with the snow, then plows were no longer really effective, but we did make multiple passes prior to that. So the front end loaders were key to getting the community cleaned up and getting these garages done. And once again, go back to the sidewalks, once you have that cap of ice on top of it, mechanical means are no longer effective. So we have a surplus of snow throwers, which were all prepared, ready to go. Unfortunately, they didn't work. They're only snow throwers and not ice throwers, right? So they do not work very well with ice. Our Bobcat skid steers, which is our primary asset for clearing main walls, we use what's called V-plow on those, and they were running continuously all day Sunday until it got too dense and it could no longer push the snow, and basically stops those plows right in their tracks. The equipment was brought back in. We then equipped them with snow throwers, thinking that we could probably clear the snow with that. Unfortunately, they went out in the field and it made very little effort. So you had a very dense snow. You had very, very frigid conditions. So now that snow as ice is clogging up the chute, and it's just freezing to the units. So basically, that wasn't working either. That once again, the equipment had to be brought back in, and we changed up to what's called a general purpose bucket. And this is what you would typically see on the front of any kind of backhoe or loader. And you've probably seen them out there working. They basically scoop and dump, scoop and dump. And that was the only effective way to get these main walks clear. Unfortunately, it's a very time-consuming, slow process. Very early on in the storm, we knew clearing the front walks was going to be very time-consuming, so I contacted the board president and requested permission to change our procedure to clearing rear doors first. And that was the best method to do, because right now they're the shortest walks, right? In most cases, some of the back walks are pretty long, but in most cases the back walks are pretty short. And if we can get the back roads clear and the back walls clear and the driveways clear, pretty much everybody's going to have 1 to 2 entrances to get in their home, and then we can tackle the front walks. Another reason for doing the front walks last is because, once again, clearing the main walks is very time consuming. So you go ahead and you clear the front walks, but you haven't cleared the mains. Now you're coming to clear the mains and you're plowing in the front walk that you just cleared. So we're trying to avoid doing double work. Now, as far as de-icers, you heard from the supervisor talk about it. We have plenty on hand, although there was a shortage. On Friday, we were notified that the ports were closing Friday before the storm. Once we got past the storm, on Tuesday, we were informed basically the state had acquired all stockpiles. So, I mean, if you're a small landscape business and you had some salt on hand, they were probably selling it, but they were selling it at a premium. Now, and you know that the shopping centers pretty much were all sold out of sidewalk de-icer as well. But we had about 5 skids of de-icer for sidewalks on here. You heard Wes talk about how much we put down. We also had 4 on order prior to the storm to replenish what we felt we were going to use on this one. We had nearly 100 tons of road salt in stock. We also had 50 tons on order to come in after the storm to replenish our stock. But once again, we had a problem with delivery. Municipalities had a problem with delivery. Everybody had a problem with delivery. The rivers were freezing up, the ports were closed. The state had basically taken all the stockpiles for their roads. So we never ran out of salt. We did run out of sidewalk de-icer. I believe on Tuesday they started using some of the road salt on some of the sidewalks, but then Wednesday we received our delivery of sidewalk de-icer, so they're back out there applying it again. So it was a very, very difficult storm. It was a very time-consuming storm. We understand everyone's frustration. Many of our employees, I'll give you an estimate, well, close to 100 hours from Sunday to Sunday, just here. And I know myself being on site, I was here approximately 4 a.m. on Sunday. I did not leave until almost 9 o'clock on Monday, just to go home and get some rest. And a lot of your management staff was the same, and a lot of your employees the same. Most of them doing around 100 hours just for that week of the storm. And yes, we did have a lot of call-outs. Unfortunately, we have personnel working in those elements, and these are some of the worst I've ever encountered, really, with the frigid temperatures and minus 0 temperatures. They're out there 3-4 hours before they come in and take a break. I mean, you have health reports saying don't stay out there more than 30 minutes. But yet they're out there chopping away, trying to get these entrances open for everyone. So, yes, there are some shortcomings, there were some deficiencies, there was some miscommunications. I have yet to have my post-storm meeting. I always have a post-storm meeting with the managers. The reason why I haven't had it yet is because we're still actively involved in this cleanup. And I'm not going to take them away from their focus right now to focus on what went wrong and what went right. We can analyze that next week. But we do know there were some issues. I have my notes, I know what they are, and I will be discussing those with the supervisors. Yes, I know people don't want to hear what's going on outside this community, right? They only want to know what's going on, but the real is realistically, I mean, it affected everybody. And when I have opportunities and I hear from other communities how they're faring through this, it does make me feel a little bit better when I know that we did better. So I see that a lot of communities didn't have sidewalks and driveways done, and still don't. In fact, I attended a seminar earlier this week where I went there and none of the parking lots were even cleared there, and the main walks weren't clear there. So everybody had their struggles through this storm. Our particular area, I think, was hit worse because we got the sleet, and we got the freezing rain. Some of the places up north just got large accumulations of snow, which I would rather prefer. If it was all snow, we would have been done a lot better. So, I know you probably have some questions, so I'll just end it right there, and then we can open it up for Q&A.
Hi, good morning. Richard Hawk, 20B. I don't envy any one of these. Here's my question that scares me because we all worry about money and assessments. We run about a $12 million budget annually in a year. So if in 2019 or 2020 we had a 19-inch snowstorm and then for 4 years had nothing, each year when we're budgeting, and I'm only using hypothetical numbers, just for conversation, say in 2021, 2022, 23, and 24, we put $50,000 in a fund for snow removal and expenses pertaining to overtime and hiring outside companies. We all have our own way to budget. So if those 4 years we didn't use were minimal, we should have close to, again, hypothetical numbers, $200,000 in reserve for catastrophes that will come when the snowstorm hits. Now the snowstorm hit. I like the way it was taken care of, not coming up here to bash. I guess my question is, now that we're going over the $50,000 budget for this 2025-2026 storm, the question is, do we have that $200,000 hypothetically sitting on the side so we can use it for the overflow of money we're going to use? It's only February 5th. We're going to get hammered again. If we don't think we are, we're being naive. So if we have to spend more money, and the same thing, bringing in the crews that are breaking in trouble to do their job, do we have that reserve ready, or do we have to hear God forbid, and we all pay the same thing, or God forbid, are we going to hear that assessment word? And again, I'm not being anyone, I'm not bashing. That's all I'm saying. Do we have 200K sitting on the side for that rainy day if it comes to snow again?
So
thank you very much.
So you make a very good point, and it's something that we've discussed numerous times in the past with the board and various committees about using various surplus funds and creating what's called a contingency fund. That's been something that I've been hoping to see, because you never know when you're going to have a major event like this. Yeah, we've been very fortunate these past few years to have these mild winters. But talking numbers on this storm and this winter, it has been a very active winter. We typically don't see activity in December, right? We had 2 storms in December, and we're just getting into February. To your point, February historically has been our bad month, right? A more active one. So it's not likely that we're going to get through February without another winter event. But one thing that I have spoke to the board about is that because we haven't been able to make certain adjustments and working with our insurance brokers, we are seeing savings in that area. So even though the cost of this storm definitely exceeds our budget parameters, I believe we're going to have ample surplus funding in the area of insurance. Remember, we created an additional line item of $150,000 just for anticipated or unanticipated expenses, particularly when we were thinking about the insurance. But that funds can be used for anything. So there are funds available to your question.
Any more questions for Tom?
Speaking of budget, you have this budget committee that meets every year, start going over the numbers and work on the budget. When do they start? Are you going to start like early? They should probably be working on it around year round. Just curious, when does that budget committee convene? I'm sorry, what is that?
We start working on as soon as Gina starts submitting the papers to the accountant.
Okay, so when is that typically?
Probably the beginning of March.
Okay, very good, thank you.
So, just to follow up on my previous questions, where are we with what was budgeted and what has been spent thus far?
All right, so let's see. Total snow budget for the year, and this is all line items, is $142,000. That's for the front end loaders, the rental of the front end loaders, salt, contracted labor, and overtime. Right now, this storm alone probably comes very close to that number. And so you got to remember, we also had 2 storms in December and an early one this year.
Where we're at this point.
we don't have the full calculations, but right now I estimate probably around 132,000.
And did you have to, the budget was set for X amount of dollars for renting equipment. Did you have to get additional equipment to rent?
Well, no, in the middle of a snowstorm like that, you're never going to get additional equipment to rent. But we did have a contractor that we worked with in the past on standby. So prior to the storm, we contacted our contracted labor, additional labor.
Right.
We said, okay, we anticipate needing X amount of bodies, and that usually evolves as the storm gets closer. We also have another company that provides equipment, snowplows, trucks, and front end loaders. Now, they're not going to come immediately when the storm because they have other contracts, but yes, we did use them. We had them come in, they were here Wednesday and Thursday. We're anticipating another major storm that following weekend, which fortunately we didn't get. But in anticipation, we started transporting snow from those tighter areas, and particularly in Cambridge, up to the overflow over here.
And that's from your contracted budget or from your rental budget?
That comes from the contractor budget.
Okay. And the overtime?
I think
Where do you stand with that?
Gina had those figures. I think we're at 22,000.
So over budget on that as well?
Okay.
Okay.
It was 26,000.
And in regard to the budget committee, how do you decide who's on that? And when do you make those decisions?
We're going to start interviewing in March for people who want to join the committee.
And how do you advertise that?
We'll put it in the newspaper, or you can contact me.
So do you, yes.
Hi, Emery, just a little incidentals. When the weather clears and everything, is there any way that we can get the speed bumps painted? Because the paint, like the yellow stripes, have virtually worn off.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get into our spring meetings.
Yeah, because I know I was at another security meeting months ago that we was brought up and they hadn't been painted then, so hopefully this spring they can be. Also just thinking about the increase in HOA probably next year. Just a little, again, incidentals. The buildings, when they're not in use, Dorchester, Buckingham, the administration building, the temperature controls. I know they're probably up during the day when they're in use, but do they ever turn down a few degrees? Because we're paying those electric bills on top of our own electric bills, which are exorbitant. I'm just wondering if there is anyone who...
Yeah, the custodians are instructed to turn it down.
Okay, because I've been in rooms where nothing's going on and I just happened to check, and the temp's in the 70s.
Yeah, I actually just saw that the other day when I was up in the computer room and I asked Joe what happened over here. He said that there were some residents using the room and they left the heat up, so he turned it down.
So that's my point, is at the end of the day, it's coming out of our own pockets. Same with, I'm just thinking, the cold weather, the damage from the plowing, all that, just on Monaco Drive. The extent of the road damage thus far is mind-boggling. And I know, you have the pavement schedule. So as everything clears and we're noticing more and more damage to our roads, do we just call and see if maybe they can fill in the crevices and potholes that we have?
Yeah, it does expedite things for us. We always do damage assessment post-storm as part of our process. It's going to be a little while with this particular storm, but yeah, if you can give us a heads up on that, that would be appreciated.
Okay, so just on my place, and when I shovel my aunts, I'm still shoveling, again, trying to break up the guys. I can just see a lot of road damage now. That wasn't there before the storm. So I can only imagine collectively in the village what it's going to be like, what it's going to cost to repair. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Committee report. Anybody have a committee report? No. See none?
Well, just that the food pantry unfortunately is going strong. We've had quite a few people, and we've had quite a few donations. I posted something on Facebook. Debbie Kennedy got us a very generous donation from Stop and Shop, the one that's closing. 3 cases of unsalted butter. Debbie, what else? Got us, what else did you get? Oh, she got us a big box of diapers and stovetop stuffing. Did you get us? No. Energy water. We all need that.
Pet supplies.
Who?
Pet supplies.
Oh, and pet supplies, which people don't think about, but we have a lot of pets in here, and you can't buy that with food stamps. So, egg whites, and plus we still have some money where we're going to go do some shopping. But unfortunately, we're a victim of our own success. And the other thing is, the volunteers in the back, did you keep an attendance of today's meeting?
Yes.
Okay, how many people were here?
78.
How many?
78.
78 people were here.
Thank you, Sandy. Safety and security. This Tuesday, we got Coco and the cops, so it's not the safety and security meeting. Safety and security meeting will be this Tuesday coming up. If people got confused, Coco and the cops and safety and security meeting, it wasn't. Just be safe out there. You know, it's dangerous walking, so just be safe out there. Anybody else? Treasurer's report. Treasurer's report. Judy.
They're all working. Sorry.
Okay, I'd like to report our reserve account with Ameriprise. As of this morning, we have $2,967,397.08. We transferred in $176,339.49, which would have been our December contribution that we had kind of held off to make sure we had enough to pay the insurance bills. In the month of January, we spent $407,741.11. As far as collections, I'm just going to report as the end of January because it's only the 5th today. But as of the end of January, from 0 to 30, we had 222, 31 to 60 days, 8, and 61 plus 173. That's a total of 403. In collections with the attorneys, we have approximately 44 units, which is about 313,000. And I say if, it's because it changes every day, but I only get to report once a month. Thank you.
Any questions for Judy? Vice President report? All right, my report. First of all, I want to thank everybody for making kind of a peaceful meeting. I mean, it started out a little funny, but we did get through it. We got answers from our workers, and it was a tough storm, I'm telling you. We had to start, we started from behind the wall because, first of all, when the ice came, we had to change the equipment. And then the next day we had a phone call that the shovelers weren't coming because of political things out there. And we had problems with that, so we were behind the wall right there. So, I know I did a lot of shoveling myself. I shoveled people out. I helped, the problem was we got a lot of complaints on Facebook, but none of the complaints got to us. You have a complaint out there, you have to let us know, not Facebook, because Facebook, I don't read Facebook all the time, and if there's no addresses, we don't know where these problems are.
How do we notify you?
Like everybody else, my number's in the book. We'll call maintenance. I would call maintenance, but call Shirley first and give her the addresses that you have the problem. And if the problem isn't solved, then you call me and I'll make sure it gets solved. All right? All right, we have another meeting going on. Question and answers? Anything? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Notifying you, I notified the entire board, Shirley and Wes, yesterday by email. I apologize that I had to send it out twice because I misspelled Kerry's address. Haven't heard a word from any of you, not one word. Even, it's about snow, it's about covering 3 parking spots, but it wasn't really a big deal to the world, but it's a big deal to us because that's 3 parking spots that we don't have.
Would you please stop saying anything?
All right. I will talk to Tom after the meeting about it. We'll see. All right? Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, so now, if there's no more Q&A, we'll have the board meeting to nominate. So, I'll ask for a roll call for the board. Yeah, so we're going to have a roll call for the board to have this board meeting to nominate. So that's what I'll ask if you have. Anyway, there's no roll call.
Tom? Debbie? Here. Judy? Here. Sandy? Here. Harvey?
Here.
Carrie?
Okay. So I'll just explain this a little bit. We're going to have the screening committee that's going to come up, and then we'll have nominations from the floor. The persons that are nominated will have a few days to either accept the nomination, they can do it here if they want, or they can think about it. If they're not here, obviously, we'll notify them and they have an opportunity to accept the nomination. Following the nomination process, there will be ballots that will be sent out to the membership. And obviously, many of us have been part of the election process, so we'll go through that. They'll be notified via whatever channels they have requested to be notified by the manager. Yeah, I'll look at it. Yeah. All right. How's this, any better? So what I'll ask for now is for the screening committee to come up.
Hi, Alice Slaughter, 657B Plymouth Drive. This report is being presented to the Leisure Village Board of Trustees as stipulated in the Leisure Village bylaws, Article 5, Section 2, to approve the proposed candidate for the office of trustee. The committee report setting forth the names and qualifications of the candidates shall be presented to the Sitting Board of Trustees at a special meeting described in Article 3, Section 2 of the bylaws. The following candidates have been qualified enumerated in Leisure Village bylaws, Article 3, Section 2. A member in good standing. The candidate screened as qualified is Raul Rodriguez. No applications submitted by the January 9th, 2026 deadline were rejected. This report was prepared by Alice Slaughter, Chair of the Leisure Village Screening Committee, on behalf of the Screening Committee as prescribed in the Leisure Village bylaws.
Thank you. What I'll ask now, if there's any nominations from the floor, please note that a member must be in good standing at the time of nomination. Do we have any nominations from the floor?
Debbie DeLucia, 578B. I'd like to nominate Sandy Acamato to retain her position, and that's one. And also Sharon Wagner, who I thought... Okay. I don't know what the requirements are, so it's Sandy and you, if you can do it.
Thank you, Mayor. Anybody else? So just to be clear, the nominees must submit written consent to administration by 3 p.m. by February 6th.
At Cindy Petty, 218A. I am nominating Tom Q to retain his position on the board, as he does a lot for this village that nobody really realizes. And you're beating up somebody who goes out there and shovels for people, and any complaint, he goes to the house and he looks at it. That's kind of what it's about.
Hi, Ernie Blundell, 554 Sheffield Court. I'm glad you'd like to nominate Kerry Asiana. Nobody heard me? You heard me? Kerry. That's it, right?
Take it because you know who it is. Bob Evangelista. You know who I mean. Big Bob on the budget committee. Okay? You accepted that nomination or whatever you call it?
They have to
Thank you.
Sharon Weiner, 684A Plymouth Drive. I'm nominating Dory Dawson Grimes and Deborah Sorrentino.
I'm Susan Smith, 4618B. I nominate Antonetta Pavone.
Sorry, can you just speak a little more to
I nominate Antonetta Pavone in 52A Cambridge Court.
All right, if there's nothing else, nominees are free to address the membership if they like right now. Give them about 5 minutes if you like.
What's it, 4 positions, right? Tom? 4 positions, right?
Sharon, was that the one that's on vacation, the one that you? Yeah, Dory's on, okay.
Great. Well, thank you, everybody. Good luck to all the candidates. Do you want to announce candidates?
All right, candidates night will be Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m. in Dorchester Hall. There will be no in-person voting. Owners will have to obtain to submit an absent ballot or vote electronically. All owners will be mailed an absent ballot. Election committee will count an absent ballot and election votes on March 29th.
Do we have a motion to adjourn the board meeting?
A second. I want to thank everybody for coming. Now I'm going to go out and shovel the car out.